This is a HeadGum podcast.
With something that looked good, and he always like nibbles on it.
Just go straight up eat a donut.
Are we starting?
No, man.
Just go straight up
He
eat a
come in here
donut?
every week with some snack, a donut, slice of pizza, and it always looks good, and it's just Braylock enough.
I'm just saying, there's three of us. You ain't bring nothing to share?
And the thing is, he don't even ask you if you want a taste of it. Like, he could have been like, hey, I'm going to cut this in half, let y'all get a little piece. And he looks so happy when he eat it. That's what pisses me off.
Guys, we're doing a little bit of hot news right now.
No, what?
Man, screw you.
I'm sorry, I was just eating a delicious hot donut.
Okay.
Hey. But it's hot news time.
It's hot news time.
Braylock set
We're
this
not
up,
singing.
man.
We're not singing.
No, we mad. I'm sad, actually.
I'm saying, but can I sing a little bit?
What you going to sing?
Guys, the Academy Award nominations came out last week. Not one person of color was nominated for the 20. Wait, no, how many? They're 20.
That's 1820. Is it 20?
No, 20.
It's 20, yes, 20.
5 for Best Actor, 5 for Best Actress, 5 for Best Supporting Actor, 5 for Best Supporting Actress. Every single one of those actors are white.
Hold on, wait. We don't have like no Puerto Rican in
No
there?
Puerto Ricans.
And then we ain't got no Asian in
Yeah,
there?
No
we got
Asian.
somebody. Is there somebody who, like, is from another planet?
No,
maybe?
Is someone
no
who-
aliens.
Is it
No aliens.
is it one person who like
No amoebas.
Is
No
it somebody
amoebas?
who's like super tan, who like, you know, they still white, but they like tan enough that, you know, they could be like exotic?
Every time I look at Mark Ruffalo, I'm like,
Yeah, maybe Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo, we got one?
No, stop. It doesn't count.
I mean, listen,
We don't have one.
I know we're trying to make light of this, but this is actually like,
It's upsetting.
it's very sad. That's why I wanted to sing like a sad hot news, like a.
So not only that.
go ahead,
No.
do your hot news.
Hot news.
What are you, a slave?
It's like sad, but
Actually,
well,
James, if you keep singing like that, you might get an Oscar
Oh,
nomination.
what? Hot news.
Yeah.
Hot news.
You know why? Because the Academy loves some slaves.
They love the struggle shit. Sorry, I'm not cursing. Struggle stuff.
So
Yeah.
not only do we literally have a repeat of Oscars So White, which we predicted sadly, but, and I kind of told you guys this too,
You did.
Straight Outta Compton not nominated.
Nope.
I think I believe I said the only way it was getting nominated if 10 films were nominated, and only 8
Only
films
8
were
were.
nominated. Straight Outta Compton not nominated. Creed, which
No, you
never
know what?
really had
You
a
know
chance,
what?
was not
Well, no,
nominated.
I'm on board with the Academy. I'm going to go ahead and say it. There were not 10 Best Picture-worthy movies this year.
Yo,
There weren't. I mean, there just weren't 10.
I mean, my thing
And
is,
so so let's just go through the Best Picture list: The Big Short, Bridge of Spies, Brooklyn, Mad Max: Fury Road, The Martian, The Revenant, Room, and Spotlight. All those were the Best Picture.
Well,
honestly,
Spotlight
I don't
was
think
really
that,
good. Spotlight was really good. You know?
I really liked The Martian, but like, that's the one. I haven't seen them all, but I don't feel like that one should be on.
I
the
saw
Best
Mad
Picture
Max
list.
like 3 times. I remember seeing Mad Max. I told you, like me
Oh,
and
yeah,
James
I
still
love
living.
Mad
Mad Max. I was like, oh my god, yes, please get nominated. For
And
something.
but the thing is, I loved The Martian as well, but I don't think it's Best Picture worthy.
Anyway, here's the point: Straight Outta Compton, Creed, Beast of No Nation. None of these films were nominated. I mean, Concussion didn't really have a chance.
No. Oh,
be
man,
real
come
about
on.
it.
Yeah,
we
I
love
would-
Will Smith.
No,
we,
but you
I
know
love
what
Will
though?
Smith.
Can I
we
make,
love Will Smith.
but can I make the argument real quick? I know we're about to get into it. Sylvester Stallone did a good job in Creed, right? Will Smith did a good job in Concussion. To me, their acting levels in those equivalent movies are the same.
Honestly, no. I think Will Smith was better.
I mean, but my point is that my point
I don't
is,
know. I thought Sylvester Stallone was good.
No, but that's the point. He was good.
He was good.
He was
in
good.
Wait, look. I talked about this when we reviewed Creed. You guys were like, "Oh, Sylvester Stallone was really good." I was like, "I guess." I mean, if really good is just not being bad.
I mean,
Like,
but
what does really good mean? Honestly, like, I like people are like, yeah, but like he like really was.
He reads
really
the
naturalistic.
paper. He reads the
was like-
paper to the graves.
and it was like, oh, coming back. I read this person who like said like, why should Creed be nominated? They already nominated that movie. It was called Rocky.
Yeah.
And I was like, Well, then why is Sylvester Stallone nominated then, huh?
Right,
He
yeah.
already freaking won that, and it was called Rocky.
Yeah.
Like, that makes no sense.
Well, also, I think the thing that hurts me about Creed is that it was this wonderful article. Was it New York Times? Sorry, I've read a lot of articles about the Oscars recently. And it was talking about
I know what you're talking about.
I think I sent it to you guys. It was like the importance of like Creed about it being like a struggle film, but not like the struggle which the Oscars normally does. It's like either the black struggle, the Mexican struggle. Like those struggles get nominated, but not just an everyman struggle with a minority in it. Aside from, what was it, Lily's?
Right.
What was it?
Beast
Sidney
of No
Poitier
Nation.
thing.
Lilies of the Field.
Lilies of the
Field.
Yeah.
And honestly, Beast of No Nation isn't real. I mean, it's not really a black struggle. It's a struggle in another country, and it just happens that everybody in that country is black. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I honestly don't understand why Beast of No Nation wasn't nominated.
I did not. I understand. It's weird because I didn't think it was going to be that good until we watched it, and I was like, "Good goodness, this movie's good."
It's really good, and honestly, I watch that, and I'm like, okay, so this is just like those films like Apocalypse Now, like all those war films that get nominated out the wazoo, Letters to Iwo Jima, like all these films. I'm like, oh, but when it's freaking about a black war, nobody cares.
But yeah, I feel like people look and they don't even feel. Not to say this, but it feels like it's like they look and they're like, oh, I can't identify with this on any level, so there's no nomination.
Can I give Jonathan a shout out for saying wazoo? I like that word. Straight out the wazoo. Sorry, I like that wazoo. But the thing
is, a weird shout out.
Sorry, no, I just like saying wazoo. No, but the thing is, this thing is just. I have no jokes or anything to say about it. It's sad.
Let's just.
It's sad.
I mean,
what does it say? What does it say to like kids of color in film school, in theaters right now? It says almost like you could do a good job, but it kind of means nothing if no one relates to it, right? Is that what happened? People didn't relate to these movies.
Real quick, I just want to some people talked about Beast of the Nation didn't get nominated because it was a Netflix movie.
Yeah.
2 Netflix documentaries got nominated for best documentary. So that's out. That excuse doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Then some people say, oh, well, these movies didn't campaign enough. No, not true. Actually, Netflix probably spent more
a ton of money
than anybody else.
Yeah, I think Beast of No Nation was
they were competing.
This
with
is
the
for
Weinsteins
SAG,
that.
but was the screener we got first.
Yeah, it was.
So, and it's the Netflix movie. So
we didn't even need a screen. We all have Netflix.
but just the fact that is a thing, it's like they have to be campaigning.
Right.
Have to ask.
Then people say, oh, well, Creed didn't get nominated because it was a sequel. Mad Max Fury Road is a sequel. It's like the 4th or 5th movie.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So
yeah, no, literally,
there are all these reasons. All these arguments are they're child's play arguments.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I just wanted to throw that kind of stuff out there. We'll do a more extensive. Yeah. So here's the thing: Jada Pinkett Smith and
Spike Lee
are so far boycotting the Oscars, like for real.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to boycott the Oscars.
Yeah.
I'm not even. joking.
We're not. I mean, us boycotting it though.
What's the thing? No, this is the difficult part about this whole situation is that with the Oscars, the good point we all know, and hopefully people at home know, is that these movies are greenlit so far in advance, right?
Yeah.
So technically, this could happen again next year. We may not see a change. Like say 2016, people are like, we're going to stop this. We're going to stop doing these
You mean like they did last year?
Yeah. Like we may not see a change until 20.
Well, no, yeah, we may. I mean, it's to see a change right away. Won't happen.
But could it be 3 years in a row?
Well, it could happen. It could happen if the Academy... Look, because here's the thing, and this is the other thing that I'll say, because people are like, well, why are we blaming the Academy? There weren't enough movies. It's like, yes, obviously, this is our podcast. This is what we talk about. Studios aren't making enough movies with black leads. But the fact of the matter is, there were movies, and they just chose not to nominate them.
There could be a change, but I also don't want to see. I don't want another black Oscars. I don't want to see. I don't want that.
You don't want a struggle. This is my thing. I'm at a point now where it's like it just doesn't need to be black. Just put a person that. Just put any person of color on that stage.
And to also say that, I do want to say that somebody had a tweet that I thought was really good. That was like, Inarritu might be one of the first people to have back-to-back Best Pictures. It's possible. So I just want to say that that. But that is something that should be celebrated and should be.
I think it is, but I also think it's that thing of kind of like when yeah, man, it's tricky. It's like I feel like a lot of people don't even know he's Mexican.
Yeah, but wait, no. Last year, Sean Penn said, "Who gave this fucker his green card?"
No. But it's like if you
did he say fucker or did I add fucker?
No,
No,
they know. The Academy knows.
Because I feel like the thing is like, I feel like appearance and stuff matters, man. I feel like that dude looks Italian to me. Though. Like he looks Italian. Not saying he's a great director, but it's like, hey man, that dude doesn't look like what I guess a traditional Mexican looks like, which I think is good
name
for
is
him.
Alejandro.
Look, bro, that dude could be from Spain.
All right. You're being ridiculous. Anyway,
my primary point is, yes, I actually think that like boycotting it would be great. I also think that like the world would change forever if Chris Rock like week before he was just like, by the way, I'm not doing this. Like that would be amazing.
Or if he walked off stage
live.
If he did his monologue,
that actually probably would. The best way to do it, Chris, is to have the show start, okay, and to walk out on stage and then say,
do the monologue where he rips them apart
and leave.
and then leave.
Yeah. And then leave. Think about how powerful that would be. It would probably screw him over, but imagine what it would do for everybody else.
It would change everything.
It would change everything if he just did that.
His career would be over.
His career would be done.
But it would change everything.
But it would change everything.
But
would
it though? I don't think his career would be done because of who he is as a performer. Like I think that he is so closely even though he's like, why are people talking to me about political issues? He is so closely tied to politics and activism.
He would be a legend.
That like if he walked out, I don't think his whole career would be over because of how, and also his talent is undeniable. So
I mean, technically, would back him up.
And technically, for top 5, he still had to like get backers on his own. The studio didn't do that, so technically, I guess he'd be in the same boat.
Exactly.
Hey, Chris, do it, bruh.
Hey, Chris,
do it, bruh.
I do want to watch. I only want to watch that opening monologue.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I want to see.
Yeah. Okay.
You ready?
I don't know.
Let's do this, man.
Yeah, let's do this. Sorry, guys. We let out our anger on Twitter. Now we're just sad.
Now we're just sad.
It is. It's just sad.
Now we're just
what is
sad.
it? The stages of grief,
yeah,
right? Which one is this?
What can we say? What can we say? Honestly, like what?
But I hope we never get to acceptance. The point is we should never get to acceptance.
Yeah.
Of the stages of grief. We'll just never get to it.
When we do the full Oscar episode, we'll see where we are in the stages then.
That being said, I do want the title of that our Oscar episode to be Boycott the Oscars.
Yeah, well it has to.
Are we officially boycotting? Let's say it right now. Are we boycotting this thing?
We can say this. Black Men Can't Jump is boycotting the Oscars.
Oh, snap.
But my girlfriend is gonna probably want to watch this.
All right, look, okay, let's make an amendment. We're gonna watch the monologue.
Watch the monologue.
And then
Black Men Can't Jump is watching the monologue.
And then
all right, bargaining. We're in the stage of bargaining. All right, let's get to the show.
Jonathan Braylock, James III, Jerah Milligan.
What more can I say? You know what it is.
Black men can't jump.
Black actors, man. Black actors.
Cruising down the street in my 6-4. No, it's not high. Oh no, but it is high. His voice is high.
His voice is high.
Yeah, but you went high and almost nasal a little bit.
Okay, hold on. Cruising down the street in my 6-4. I feel like the foe was
the way you say it, yeah.
Foe was throwing me off.
Throw it away.
Foe.
Yeah.
All right. Cruising down the street in my 6-4.
No, so you still lean into it. You lean into foe.
All right. Now I'm ready to be an actor.
Great.
Cruising down the street in my 6-4. You start laughing before you do it. You do it.
Hey, nah, I didn't start this trying to do it.
I'm not a part of this.
Come on. All right, hold on. I'm gonna try another person.
Okay.
Braylock's looking at me. I got nervous. All right, hold on. Ready.
Okay.
Straight Outta Compton. No, that's how they get aggressive.
Okay, wait, I got one. I got somebody.
Are we done here?
I know I got somebody. Hold up. 1, 2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door, ready to make an entrance. So back on up.
I mean, that's cool, but that's not N.W.A. though.
I'm just saying, but it's in the movie.
California love.
What are y'all doing? No, man, I get his Dre, but California. I thought we were doing it. Why you stop? I agreed to y'all terms.
Nowadays, everybody want to talk like I
No, you stop that.
Don't you?
Okay, wait. That song's not in it. But we at least sang songs that was in it.
Well, Eminem makes an appearance at the end.
One song that wasn't in it that I wanted to be in it was say at the say at the
You won't be lonely. So you won't be lonely. So you won't be lonely.
This is the worst cold opening of all time.
We talking about we going through the classics right now.
Yeah,
we going through the classics. Oh, hold on. Straight Outta Compton.
All right.
See, you tried it.
Okay, all right.
Today was a good day. First, that's one of my favorite hip hop songs of all time.
It was a good day. It's a great
Today
song.
was a good day. Mama cook a breakfast with no hog.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No hog. That means no pork for the people at home.
Okay.
Are they listening yet?
Nope.
Producer Nick, they listening?
I hope
Producer
not.
Nick nodding. Hey, we educating people.
Let's get
means
to
pork.
it. Welcome to Black Men Can't Jump in Hollywood.
Hollywood City.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in New York though, so it's not really
It's
Hollywood
cool.
City. But we still in Hollywood.
In Hollywood.
Well, no. You just established that we are not in Hollywood.
Well, I
But
mean,
we're talking about Hollywood.
Hollywood.
So
in
the
Hollywood-
person who's not yelling in your ear is Jonathan Braylock. That's me. I'm Jonathan Braylock.
I'm James the Third.
As the person who is being passionate in your ears, I am Jerah Milligan. Producer Nick Nod. So he's with me. Yo, y'all, today we doing the movie Straight Outta Compton.
Straight Outta Compton. Straight Outta Compton.
Okay.
And
Is there more to that?
no,
I
that's
thought
not-
we were going to take turns.
Wait, are we wrapping it? What are we doing?
No, I thought we were going to explain it.
Just explain. Oh, okay, yeah, cool. Straight Outta Compton. Yo, biopic.
Biopic?
Biopic.
Okay, respect.
The most profitable music.
Yeah, highest grossing music biopic
Was-
of all, worldwide
Biopic.
all time.
Wasn't this the highest grossing all black cast film of all time as well?
Highest grossing film by a black director.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
That
true?
for sure.
I
But
thought it
I'm not
was-
sure. But black cast, I guess. I mean, I guess
Predominantly black
Also,
cast.
does that correlate? Like, if it's a black director, does that also would that also mean all
So
black cast?
this movie made more money than.
Oh, and then Walk the Line. It made more money than
Well, I know that's music biopic, but
Director
it made more money
previously
than
was
The
Scary
Barbershop.
Movie.
Yeah, it did make more money than the Barbershop.
Scary Movie. Keenan Ivory Wayans.
What?
For director?
F. Gary-
Director was previously Scary.
The director of Straight Outta
it.
Compton, F. Gary Gray, who turned down, which is so funny, he turned down, I mean, probably it's for the best, The Winter Soldier to do this movie.
Oh,
Right, which I think we've talked about.
We talked about it off.
this movie only made 200 million worldwide.
I mean, well, it did really well domestically, but not that well.
Oh, is it the most
internationally.
domestically?
well,
domestic.
these all of these, according to Wikipedia, all of these numbers are by like highest grossing of all time by 0.5 million, and then for black director, it's by like 2 million or something. Like that. Like it's like they're very close records, but it's still
Right.
It's still one.
I mean, this movie did well
Yeah.
in the United
Oh, okay,
States.
yeah.
I mean, it's probably going to be
Scary movie
nominated for an
made-
Oscar. Watch.
Scary Movie made more worldwide, but I think it must be domestic.
It's domestic. It's
Oh
definitely
yeah, sorry, domestic.
It didn't do well.
Highest grossing
internationally.
domestic film by 0.5 million.
Yeah, it didn't do that well.
Okay, yeah.
internationally.
Because Scary Movie made 278 million worldwide.
The original?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that first one was really
Very
good.
popular.
Remember the gym teacher?
And its
with
budget
the
was
balls?
only 19 million.
Wow.
Anywho, stars Jason Mitchell,
Yep. Jason Mitchell.
O'Shea
O'Shea
Jackson.
Jackson Jr. A Cube.
O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Corey Hawkins
Cube Jr.
and Paul
Also,
Giamatti.
yeah, and also, if people don't know, this movie is like, the rise and fall, I guess, if you will, of N.W.A. back in the 80s, early 90s. Easy. It's so interesting.
What's
'cause-
N.W.A. stand for?
Want me to do it? You want to do it? Nah, you want
Does
to do
it
it, Brady.
stand for no whites allowed?
No. It's no wigs allowed.
No wigs allowed?
Yeah, no wigs allowed.
Niggas with attitude.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Shit.
I get that. Did you just flare your nose? So everyone knows, John's nose when he said that got real
Flared,
like,
but then he just kept doing it like it was pulsating.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
like
the anger when he said it. He felt it was the passion.
Yeah. So here's the thing. We're recording this right before the
The Oscar
nominations come out.
Yeah. Tonight is
So you guys listening to it now, the Oscar nominations have just come out pretty recently.
I would like to place a bet that this will be nominated for an Oscar.
For Best Picture.
For Best Picture, I definitely will.
Do you
Now,
think that, go ahead. JB.
I think that bet is 50-50.
It is.
But I will say this. I will put my money down. This movie will not be nominated for anything else other than Best Picture.
Agreed.
Which
I
makes
it's so interesting.
no sense.
I agree.
Because
Which makes no sense.
I was looking on Wikipedia and I saw that they're getting like ensemble awards out the ass, right?
Yeah.
Like they're getting so many of those awards, nominations. Critics, right, is one.
SAG.
Critics, SAG. Golden
is
Globes, they
another.
have one too.
Golden Globes, they have one. But it's them. They're like, you know what? We gotta give props to them as a whole, right? But if you look at it, individuals also shine in this.
Oh my goodness.
Shine. And it's just, I wonder why that is. Why is it hard to
Are we going to
discern?
do that? Should we talk about this now?
Okay, well, I mean,
I got some theories.
Before actually,
Okay,
you know
wait,
what?
all right.
I want to hear Braylock's theory because I feel like we talked about this. We touched on this briefly, like we did the best of episode.
Yeah.
And I want to hear it because it hurt. This movie is a quality movie, but it hurts my heart that I know you won't get this and Creed nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is the one. Out of the two, if they had to pick one, they're going to pick the hood one. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying they're going to pick the super urban one. But Bray,
I
tell you.
almost mean it in a bad way.
No, tell us your thing.
So here's the thing. You going to nominate a film for Best... First of all, if you're going to nominate a film for Best Picture, that means that all of the elements were great.
Yeah.
Yes.
All of them together were great.
Yep.
It was not just the cinematography, not just the acting, not just the directing, not just the screenplay, not just the editing. It's like all of that put together came out to this great film. But to nominate something for Best Picture and then not give out any individual awards, this is what it does. And to nominate for an ensemble, this is what it does. You give the movie the award, right? Or not even the award, the recognition. We recognize this film is good. But when it doesn't nominate the individuals, the black individuals, the people of color, the individual human beings who made this movie great, when you don't give them that credit, then it stops there at that movie, and those people can no longer progress. If you are an Academy Award nominee as an actor, that is huge cachet.
Yep.
And that will get you into more films.
Just the nomination alone.
Just the nomination. Forget about just winning. The nomination alone. If you are a part of a great ensemble, that isn't going to get you squat.
Now, so why do you think that is? Do you think that that it's intentionally stop that, or do you think it's a deeper thing?
I think it's not. I don't think it's intentionally to stop it. I think it's I think the only reason that it's getting nominated is so that it's like, oh, well, goodness, we have to have something.
We got to pick one.
We have to have something we don't want to look like racist. We don't want to look like we're not acknowledging these other stories. So let's acknowledge the story, but we don't actually, in our heart of hearts, we don't actually think that these individuals deserve the nomination.
I think it's unconscious bias. I think it's that thing I think Will Smith talked about it. A lot of people talk about it. It's that unconscious bias. It's like, can people relate to this kind of thing? In this movie here, I mean, for instance, like what Braylock is saying about actors, how important it is for Jason Mitchell, the guy playing Eazy-E, right? Eazy-E was a character or a figure who people didn't know about. Like, people wanted to hate this dude. It's like he had drugs. He called women bitches. Like, everything about this persona of a person, people didn't like. I didn't know that much about him, but watching this movie, it made me feel almost sorry for him, and that was due to the performance of Jason Mitchell, right?
Yeah.
And my thing is, if you have a movie, if you think this, like Braylock is saying, you think this movie is great, right? It's great. Why is it great? Your director needs to be nominated, right?
Yeah.
Your writer should get some accolades, and then the people that you're looking at on screen need to get something. Maybe not all of them, but at least one of them. And the thing is, if that does not happen, like if they don't nominate Straight Outta Compton or Creed, what people of color going to show up on that? Like who? Like Matter of fact,
But
who's going to be on the carpet?
That's what I'm saying, and that they can get those people there without actually giving them. Here's the other thing that we have to think. Here's the other thing that we think about, because it's not like this whole big conspiracy thing.
I don't think
right?
it is.
But here's the thing. This is what we talk about. This is what the show is about, right? About why don't studios take chances on leading actors of color, right? There are all these different gatekeeping ways in which somebody becomes a movie star or bankable or whatever. The thing is, you need studios and producers and directors, all that stuff. You need this Hollywood machine to prop you up and give you a chance. You know what I mean? Take a chance on you. So, for instance, Jennifer Lawrence, right? Seemingly coming out of nowhere, her first nomination was for Winter's Bone. Now, she was in some stuff before that.
She was in the Bill. And what's that guy? The comedian from the Blue Collar Comedy. She played his daughter on like a sitcom.
Right. She was in a couple of TV.
Oh, that's right. What was that show?
Bill. I don't know his last name.
No, yeah, but okay, but go ahead.
Well,
No,
she
okay.
was in, like, honestly, I'm looking here. The Bill Engvall show.
Yeah, and she was like in an MTV.
Bill
she was
Engvall
on there.
show.
So she was
Yes,
on TV.
yes.
She was on TV, and she was in like a couple of small films, like maybe 3.
like shorts. She was in a couple.
Then she did Winter's Bone, and got nominated. Right?
Yeah.
She's an Academy Award nominee now for Best Actress. And then, boom, like, what happens after that? She's in a bunch of stuff. She was in X-Men like crazy.
I mean, she got Hunger
And I
Games
mean,
right
so-
out.
Silver, you know what I mean? But she but it's not just one. She didn't just get one and then they waited for that to do well. She had buzz, and she got a bunch of projects lined up in a row. So that even if one failed, like X-Men First Class, if she only got X-Men First Class, she wouldn't have been as big as she is now.
Right.
But she didn't just get X-Men First Class. She got X-Men First Class, Hunger Games, and another thing. And like these indie movies, like the movie Like Crazy on top of it. So it's like she's feeding both blockbuster and indie at the same time.
We talk about this. She did what I think every actor wants to do. She does both.
But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that not all actors get to do what she did, but she got the opportunity to do it.
Right.
Because of the nomination.
And so,
But if Winter's Bone was nominated for Best Cast and she wasn't individually nominated, that stuff would not have happened.
No, she needed to be as young as she was, and she needed to get the best. You're right, the best actress. I mean, she's going against like Helen Mirren and like
Yes.
so let's talk about unconscious bias for a second, right?
Yeah.
And how it relates to this movie. So I read the New York Times review of it last night, and in the New York Times review, very early on, they say this movie harkens to. I took the quote.
But
This movie.
Quote time with James III. It's a quote time.
In some meaning, thank you. Thank you. Welcome to quote time. In some meaningful ways, it is as familiar as Bootstrap's accounts. It's as familiar a Bootstrap's account as The Social Network, David Fincher's dramatization of Mark Zuckerberg's ascendancy. Even if Straight Outta Compton is also about Black art and autonomy as means of resistance, which I thought was interesting, right? Because we reference this other movie that is about, is specifically about the rise of Mark Zuckerberg, but it's similar because of the inner workings and the dealings and how like they started from nothing and went to right. I thought it was interesting that it's
Mark Zuckerberg never got chased down by the cops.
It's even if it is also about this black thing, right?
Right.
But then later in the review, she specifically says that Mr. Mitchell and Mr. Giamatti consistently outact the rest of the performers. Right.
Ooh.
Mitchell's performance is
It's interesting. Tessa didn't agree.
She didn't agree.
Really? I thought
she thought she liked Dre the best, but I didn't.
But I think that Corey Hawkins is also.
I thought he was great too.
Phenomenal. But Jason Mitchell is so good in this, and he takes this character. You follow him. You go on this journey with him, and it's amazing. But like, he's not getting individual attention for this because people are watching it and not identifying with it.
Can I piggyback on this?
Yeah.
I thought we were going to wait a little bit. But watching this movie the second time, I was upset. Because every time I think about, and this is no diss to Sylvester Stallone. No diss. But the fact that he got nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Supporting. And this dude, there's a scene in Straight Outta Compton where he finds out that he has HIV.
Yeah.
And the thing is, He finds this out in the early 90s when people, at the time people thought only homosexuals can get it. And he's out. And we talked about this, like, black men are supposed to be, like, tough. We're not supposed to show weakness. And his wife is there, or his girlfriend, who's pregnant. He finds this out.
His wife.
And the emotion in that dude's face, bruh. I'm like, you telling me that scene alone didn't deserve that kid a best Golden Globe supporting? He didn't get supported for that?
It's amazing.
It's much better than Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant, I can tell you that right now.
But my thing is, I just want to know that
That's right, Leo.
That performance was so good that I want someone to tell me why he didn't get nominated. I feel like I need to ask why did he not?
Why he hasn't been. It's because, I mean, and I think that this connects to why I don't even think it's just, we don't want them to think that we're racist. I really think that if you think about unconscious bias, it's difficult to place if you don't identify with where they're coming from. It's difficult to place who is actually standing out here right?
I agree with that. I agree with that to an extent. I think you got two reasons why. You have to understand the Oscars it's the biggest popularity contest.
What about any of the rest of them? What about Golden Globes?
Golden Globes is the same thing. It's all the same thing because the thing is they give nominations because it's almost like everybody's doing favors for each other. They're all like shaking each other's hands, like it's self-congratulatory. The industry is congratulating itself, right? And the thing is, for actors to get nominated, the studio has to push them, and the studio has to push them, and then other people have to go, oh, I think this person can be a big thing, that's why we'll jump on board this wagon. So somebody looked at Jennifer Lawrence and they were like, this girl has potential, she can be the most popular actress of our time, let's hitch our wagon to her and we'll push her for this nomination. Again, this isn't anything against Jennifer Lawrence. I think she's a really good actress. I personally like her, and I think her performances are good. But the fact of the matter is, there are great performances that get overlooked all the time. Why? Because the studio isn't pushing that person. And when it comes to these kind of films, Straight Outta Compton is kind of going back to what you were saying, Jerah, about like this is a film about the part of the African American culture that white people are okay with giving a nomination to. You know what I mean? But they also look at it like, but you're only going to have one of those movies a year. Really, one every 2 years.
One every 2 years.
We'll give it one every 2 years, and that's what that is good for. And can this person do anything else? I don't know. The fact of the matter is, most of these cast members have barely any credits before it. I was showing Jennifer Lawrence to compare, be like, so do white actors too.
Hold on. First off, just one thing. Can I add? Sorry to cut you off. I think the fair thing to actually add is that two of the actors in Straight Outta Compton are Juilliard trained actors.
Right. Oh, they're great.
Juilliard trained actors, and they still can't get that push.
No, because it's who cares? They're Juilliard trained, but it's like, what are they going to do? Going to do more rap movies? Like that's how people are thinking.
But then,
are they going to be
those guys?
You know what I mean?
I may be wrong, but in the Forbes 30 under 30 list that just came out, weren't a couple of them on it?
I think the only one was on it. I think Jason was on it.
Jason was on it. Okay.
Jason was on it, yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. Obviously, this is not the same thing, but that is attention, positive attention in a good direction.
It's not the same, though, because that list, in all honesty, that's a great list, but that list encompasses everything in entertainment. Like, there's like, and it's not to disrespect anyone who made it, but like Bray was saying, that to be able to say, Jason Mitchell, Oscar nominated Jason Mitchell is starring in, Skull Island.
Right.
That is different than to be able to say, Forbes under 30.
Nobody will put that on there.
You know what I'm saying? That's not the thing.
Yeah.
And it's tough watching this because I think what happens with unconscious bias is that I was talking to somebody about this the other day. It goes for women too, man. You need a white dude to back you. Like when I think about
a Jerry Heller.
I think you think about it. Think about John Boyega, right? John Boyega. You know who you had in this? He had interviews saying like his auditions weren't great.
He said that, but Abrams didn't.
But this is the thing. But as the thing is like, no matter what, whether they were or not, he still had someone who like had his back. And like you're saying, like the studio, Harvey Weinstein in particular, had Jennifer Lawrence's back. I mean, she thanked them when she won. That's one of the first people she thanked.
Yeah.
It sucks because like this unconscious biases won't go away until we get the sprinkles till
Now,
we get
I
women
just want to
and
say
people of
this.
color.
I would
people-
love it.
yeah.
I would love it if we're talking about this right now, but as people are listening to this episode, they're yelling, going, "But Jason was nominated.
I would love
Jason
that.
was nominated."
I would love that.
that would,
There
I would
is-
love
that would
that.
be
literally zero chance.
no, dude.
I'm telling you right now. I'm listening to all the
It would
chatter,
be-
all the things.
It wouldn't.
People aren't even saying maybe. They're not even
even saying
giving
his
it a.
name, are they?
They're not. No, it's not even like long shot. Like it. They're nobody in Straight Outta Compton is in the conversation.
Yeah.
They're not even in the conversation. There's like 6-7 people deep who won't get nominated who are talked about more than anybody in Straight Outta Compton.
And we all know that Walk the Line, the second highest grossing music biopic,
Oh wow! See the shade? Did you
was
see the shade?
nominated for so many awards.
Yeah.
Hold on.
So
Bray, did you hear the shade that
Yeah,
James just threw to
second.
that? I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, just so
Well, the thing
just so
is,
the
look at
Academy
this. Johnny
knows.
Cash. That's Johnny Cash.
Yeah,
right?
it was like Joaquin
Johnny
Phoenix.
Cash is a huge thing, but so is N.W.A.
Oh, N.W.A. was huge. And the thing is,
Huge.
This plays into like that whole 90s nostalgia kind of thing. It's like everyone nowadays who's like an adult and a little bit older all knew of N.W.A. even though if you weren't even like born
Oh,
then,
man.
you knew of them. You know, and they were like this thing you heard about. And it's interesting because, I mean, John, you're right. This thing, Jason won't get nominated.
Let's.
It would be insane if it happened.
Can I bring one thing up?
Honestly, Straight Outta Compton has a chance of not getting nominated for Best Picture too.
But this is the thing.
It has a chance of not getting
Yeah,
nominated.
it does.
I think
What are 10? Yeah.
we'll see. And that's only. I think if there are 10 movies, it'll get nominated. If there are less than 10, it probably won't. Let's talk about first impressions of this movie. We haven't talked about this movie
yeah.
at all.
Yeah, first impressions.
I'll say this though. So I didn't see this movie in theaters. You guys did.
Yeah.
I saw the screener, the SAG screener, and because it is nominated for Best Ensemble Cast. This movie started off so strong for me.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my! Like the beginning of this,
Yeah.
like
The opening, right?
The opening, the first half of this movie, I loved.
Yeah.
But I have to say, once they started breaking up, it got a little bit loose for me.
It turned
And
into like a biopic, right?
and it started to feel like TV. Like it started
Yeah.
to feel like,
Felt like a
I was
biopic.
like, man, you guys are not connecting these scenes as well as you were before.
Yeah.
The storyline, like it wasn't, and I definitely wasn't into gangster rap. Will Smith is my favorite rap artist. He always will be. I love you, Will. You're in my heart forever.
Okay.
all right,
that was
bro.
unnecessary. That was wholly unnecessary.
Will Smith,
Oh,
Big
my
Willie style. You know what I'm
goodness.
talking about? Like that's like he doesn't curse in his rhymes. You know what I mean? So like I was not buying the parental advisory CDs.
I mean, you would have bought an Usher one that still would have been on there, man. He was talking about sex.
So I wasn't. I definitely didn't know all of this backstory. Like I knew some of the stuff. Like I knew Suge Knight was crazy. Like I knew that kind of thing. You know what I mean? But I didn't know the ins and out of this story. So there were some things that were happening that I was like, wait, but what? And like even the whole way that they dealt with what is his name, Jerry?
Jerry.
The way that they dealt with Jerry, like they never like fully explained in the movie like exactly what he was doing. Like
Yeah.
they kept just saying like he's a bad dude, and then at the end they're like, see, he's a bad like
And he
it
never
was just
said
like
what he
they
did.
had like
Yeah.
papers out and they're like, he's been screwing you. But it never really said how. I was like,
Yeah.
how has he been screwing him? Like, I don't know. It didn't trust the audience enough. Either it trusted the audience too much or it didn't trust the audience enough to be like, well, we don't need to explain this. Let's just write it over. And so it was interesting because like my girlfriend was like watching it with me, but like halfway through. And so she was asking me questions like, is that the bad guy? Is that the good guy? And I was like, it's so weird. I don't even know. I don't like, I know in life, I don't know who this thing of
The
this
movie is.
bad or
Movie.
good.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if who the movie's trying to tell me is bad or good. Like,
Yeah.
So anyway, I will say like, I will, and watching it, I was just like, part of me, even though like we want more black directors, black leads to be nominated, like dominated casts. I personally, I don't want this film to be nominated for Best Picture. If it is,
Yeah.
I don't want it to be nominated for Best
understand
Picture
that.
and nothing else.
I understand
You know what I
that.
mean?
I
Like
understand
I was
that.
just like, because then it feels like to me, it's just like, okay, yeah, what? Like you do one movie and it deals with like gang stuff, and it's like, You know what I mean?
I think what you're saying is, and it's not to put words in your mouth, it's that thing of like, we don't get a lot of movies with black people to get nominated. And for one of those few spots to be taken by like another stereo.
And I don't
and by a movie that ultimately, storytelling wise, is okay. Do you know? Like not a perfect movie.
Right.
It's nominated for Best
It's
Picture.
better than what you know. It's that movie that's better than what you thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Now let me make it abundantly clear. There are definitely going to be movies nominated for Best Picture this year in which the storytelling is just as average as Straight Outta Compton. Ultimately,
of course.
And they will be nominated by Best Picture, and people will say that movie's really good. So it's not like. But that being said, it's not like this kind of transcendent film. You know what I mean? Ultimately, I thought it had such huge potential to be, and I think the reason that it did so well is because it came out during a time where the theme that they were dealing with in the first half of the movie with like police and black lives was so prevalent at the time that it came out, and still is obviously today, months later. But like, I think that's why it did so well. But I wish it just kept on that storyline almost. I know they had to tell the whole story, but it was just like there was something about that I was just like, oh man, like because they hammered that home. I got angry watching this movie, really, really angry. Like not at the movie, I got angry
just about life
as a black
right?
man,
about life,
about
it's
life,
still happening.
about how people are kept down in the ghetto, and like it just made me so furious. And so when they came out singing the song, you know what I mean, at the police, I was like,
you felt it.
Yes,
they felt it.
It was so good. It was. That was if that was
right
the
now.
end of the movie, I would have been like, "This is the greatest movie ever made." Honestly,
So much of what you just said is so on point, JB. And I will say my thoughts by first saying, now having seen this movie twice, each time I've loved it all the way through, even though I have the same reservations that you have about it. I am a huge fangirl, though, for this movie.
That was a text message that James sent
I
this
sent
morning.
the text message. I said, I'm a huge fangirl of this.
That's literally what he said.
he's a fangirl of everything.
So first, no, but first thing I want to say is, though, you said naturally they have to tell the whole story, which I don't think is true.
You're right, it isn't true.
We've seen a lot of biopics lately that have been coming out lately, especially that are like just a moment. Like it's like we're just gonna tell this moment of story.
Yeah, and Selma only did literally one moment.
One moment. Yeah.
And that new like Steve Jobs movie that just came out also does like very specific.
Yes, three launches.
So so I don't think it had to encompass the whole story. That being said, though, my initial thoughts are not knowing a lot about gangster rap, but being a big rap fan growing up, especially during this time, during the time of N.W.A. and of Ice Cube and all that. I love this movie and the story. I really wish that they would have gone more into their wrongdoings.
Yes.
I think and we'll probably get into it a little bit more later, but like especially the Dr. Dre stuff, like you can tell that his character is struggling with something else that is not on screen, and it's one of the criticisms about the movie, like that they don't go into it.
Because they show. Sorry, not to cut you off. They show like the scene of when Ice Cube does that interview, and that scene, like a couple of days later, Dr. Dre beats a woman in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah.
An MTV VJ.
Yeah, and Dr. Dre has lines that are like there's a line that Nicole says to him that's like, oh, I know about this, I know about the charges, I know about the, and then later he says like I don't feel good about a lot of the things that I've done, but
you don't know.
So far, we haven't seen him do literally a single thing wrong. He hasn't done anything wrong, according to the way that this movie tells the story.
This movie was an hour longer that they had to cut down, too.
It was? Because it was already 2.5 hours.
And I will also say this.
Yeah, it was
it didn't feel.
They filmed like a 3-hour, 30-minute movie.
It didn't feel that long to me. Each time that I saw it, I watched this very late into the night last night, and I really thought that I would fall asleep on any other movie. I would fall asleep. Yeah. I was riveted again on the second watch. So, my initial thoughts are like that I really, really enjoy it. And just wish that a couple things storytelling wise were stronger.
Yeah, I guess my initial thoughts, it's tough for me to review this movie because like my initial thoughts all relate to like kind of what John hit on about things that are happening today. Like there's two things I thought about instantly. I was like, man, and again, I am not a saint. I don't do like I've used the term bitch when I was younger. I'm trying my best not to now. The way they treated black women in this movie, like for some reason it just when we and the thing is, how many people say bye Felicia?
My thing is
no, but the thing about that is like I understand.
Does that come from this movie?
It is, and it's like in the scene where like they're like, who's Felicia? Who's Felicia? Who's Felicia?
Right.
And then they slam the door like, bye Felicia. They sent a black woman, basically just had panties on.
Yeah.
Like they just left her. Like you know what I'm saying? Just left her. And I'm not.
Which here's my thing though. I'm okay with them showing that stuff because that's what was happening. You know what I mean? Like I'm okay. And like here's the thing. There's a bunch of rocker movies where white rock stars are doing the same thing. They're like there's this way of which men who are in power and there are women groupies who like just want to be around fame, and it's like it's a terrible relationship. You know what I mean? And the men are abusing their power, and the women are kind of just like there and allowing themselves almost to be embarrassed. You know what I mean? Yeah. But which is the terrible thing that's happening. Like, I'm okay with that, but the thing is, I think it goes back to what James was saying. Is like they didn't tie that into the story. It just was a scene.
Yeah, and it's,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think the tough part for me, like, because I know we review the movie, and it's tough taking out the people that the movie's about in the movie. Like, for instance, like when I think about N.W.A. as a whole, right? I think about N.W.A. as the people who like, did a lot for the community, yes, but they are the ones who, they started gangster rap. They are the ones who talked about like women in certain ways, and it's hard for me to take that out of the movie. Like I understand that scene had to be in because that's what N.W.A. was about, but it's tough to watch because it's like, do we need to see black women go through this again?
Which is, I think that is also why I had such a problem with the fact that they left out Dr. Dre's like assault as well, because like. And the New York Times review kind of talks about what you're talking about too, where they say that like when we do see the women in this movie, it is almost like we're just watching a rap video, but not witnessing what real life would have been like. What are they like actually living in this moment?
Yeah. I was gonna say to me the main problem is not necessarily the depiction or even lack of. I'm okay with them not showing that particular incident because you don't need to show every incident that happened.
But at least one.
But what should be talked about, what should happen is you have a female character who the movie is telling their story. Yeah. So you have either Dre's wife or Ice Cube's wife, and not have them just in these secondary scenes where they're just being either supportive or unsupportive, right? That's basically the stories that were told. It was like Dre's wife wasn't being supportive, and then Cube's wife was being supportive.
Right.
Good for her for being supportive, bad for her for not being supportive. And it's just like, that's the Bechdel test, right? It was just like, the women are only there to serve as functions of the men. You know what I mean? Instead of just seeing, or even the mother, right? Like seeing their story and how these people... how
live.
The other people's lives, you know what I mean, are affecting how they're living as well and what they have to struggle through. You know what I mean? So if we see that, then I think some of these problems or issues I'm okay with. But because we had no real female character, even though I thought the actresses, like the mom was so great.
The mom was strong. Storm was
really
in
good.
this. What is Storm's
Storm?
The woman who's playing the new Storm, she plays Ice Cube's wife. She played Aaliyah. So sorry, I can't remember her name.
There's Eric, but Eazy-E's wife or
love interest.
But she goes by Tanya Woods Wright. She does have Wright.
As her last.
Yeah, so I believe they were their relationship was they did marry. But she was one of the producers on the movie. But I think that it's interesting that we don't feel like that, and I don't feel like that the women were very well represented in the movie because I remember in watching the movie, I'm like, who is Tamika, who is she?
Yeah.
Who
They
is
barely
she? And, like,
introduced
what's
them.
going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah, like
I was
Ice
like,
Cube's
wait,
wife
why is
just
she-
appeared in the in the office.
yeah.
I know. Ice Cube's wife literally just appeared.
She just appeared.
And I'm just like,
Same
when did
with
he get a
Eazy-E's
wife?
girlfriend.
Easy's girlfriend, then
Yeah.
wife. Like, we didn't even really know. And when she was like reviewing, she was like, I can review this stuff. I was like, I don't.
Yeah, no, I know.
Who is she?
Yeah,
How does she?
Who are you? What do you do? Yeah.
And then
How-
the only time you even figure out who she is, Jerry says, "Oh, you're talking about the groupie, the executive assistant." But hold on, the only other
Oh
thing.
yeah, there was
so-
another
Oh, yeah.
story there.
You're
that-
still doing your initial.
So yeah,
thoughts.
so it was the second thing that I was thinking about when it came out, and Jonathan touched on this too. Is like just the fact that the issues, like the one thing they made sure to do, which I did kind of like, is that throughout the movie they made sure you knew about the Rodney King situation.
Yeah.
All right, black man was this 1991 gets beat on camera,
91.
beat on camera. Cops still get off, right? We live in what 2016.
Yeah.
That shit is still happening.
Yeah.
We record in New York City, right? We record in New York City. Our mayor.
Another
okay?
riot happened in Ferguson.
And you know what?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Our mayor, right? When Eric Gardner happened, said that he has to tell his son, who is a mix. His wife is black. His son looks mixed. His son is a little Braylock baby, curly hair, kind of brown features, right? He said he has to tell his son in the city that he fucking governs that no one knows you're the mayor's son when you walk out of this house.
Yeah.
Right? And the thing is, that is happening now, and it happened back in 1991. There has been no progression.
And-
literally none.
Like the only progression that there has been is that the decisions are being made in the courts faster.
Oh, can I tell you?
That's the thing that has changed.
I tell you-
Is people are deciding earlier that we're not going to do
Can I
anything.
tell you one
about
more
it.
thing too?
Yeah.
Is that in 1991, when you see these people, when you see Eazy-E, when you see Ice Cube, you know when they look at that case when it came out, they were shocked that the cops didn't go to jail, right?
Yeah.
In 2016, if another black kid gets shot, I will not watch that and be shocked.
Yeah.
I'll be like, damn, again.
I mean,
We have gotten desensitized to people getting killed nowadays.
in
man.
this film, they say the words, "At least they got it on film." Thank God they got it on film.
Right.
Now, everything is recorded. Like, everything is recorded. And we still have to debate and have to question and have to and ultimately decide.
There are patriots, if you will, white patriots right now, right? All right. Oh, that's what they're calling themselves. The Oregon dudes, patriots, guns, militia. What are you gonna call terrorists? Is what you want to call these dudes, right? All right. They're taking over a building with guns.
Yeah.
There's a black kid who just there's literally
It's a
cases
black kid who
nonstop.
just went to the store,
like
try to get himself some Skittles and an Arizona iced tea.
it's
But
like,
you
it's
know what?
No guns. The thought that he might have a gun got that kid shot. The thought that like a kid in a Walmart had a toy gun got that kid shot.
Oh,
And
well,
it's
no,
still
that was
happening.
a grown man
was a
who
grown man.
was just
No, the
walking
BB gun.
around on the phone.
Oh yeah, you're talking about.
You're talking
that's
about
also,
sorry.
To me-
that also in Ohio.
To
Oh,
me, right,
sorry.
yeah, those are both in Ohio. That was a kid just in the park with a toy gun.
Sorry, there's so many I'm getting
so many
confused.
people with toy guns being killed for no reason.
So yeah, I would say that part of the movie was because it kept showing it, and in fact, I remember they like showed it in the beginning of the movie. Then
It's
they
like a
showed it
thriller.
again with Ice Cube, and I remember when it first happened to Ice Cube, I thought that was the time he was going to start writing the song, and he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my goodness. And then like when it happened again, and like I was like, they're building it up. They built it up so much that by the time that they actually do the song, I mean,
feel
I
it,
think
dude.
if you were a white cop, you'd be like, yeah.
yeah, that was something that I loved about the storytelling of this that I thought was great is that they build it up really nicely. You can't wait for them to do the song. And then when they start getting in trouble for the song, you notice that the audience and the people that are involved, it's all different races, all different shapes and sizes. Everybody's just like, you know, we don't need to be oppressed. Everybody can agree that no one needs to be or wants to be oppressed. I thought that was great.
It's still happening, yo. Like, I think that's the thing that watching that movie, I think that's the thing that just like clicked with me so much. It's like, man, this is still going on years later. And the thing is, in 1991, I mean, I don't know how old everyone's grandparents are, but like, I'm assuming they're like in their 70s, right? Our grandparents probably went through the same thing that like your parents went through, that you're going through, that if we have kids, God forbid, our kids got to go through.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it like it? Like watch this movie. It's like, oh my God, this is this hasn't ended.
So when talking about that, something that I also think is great about this movie.
Yeah, where's the funniness at? Make a joke.
Oh man, I wasn't about to make it. Dude, that's it. Bap comedy. But I'll talk about my own experience for a second, and then bring it to the movie.
Oh snap!
So when
real.
Yeah, no. When I was in middle school, and back when I like used to like actually listen to rap consistently and seek it out.
Cruising down the street in your
I was cruising, and when I was in middle school, I was cruising down the street in my 6'4", you know.
What? I mean? What color?
It was
you messing up.
I know.
Wait, continue. Sorry.
But I was I had opinions, and they were negative opinions about gangster rap. I was like, in middle school I loved it, and then like in high school and stuff, because gangster rap made me angry. So then in high school and stuff, I was like, oh, no, I'm above this. I don't need that. Blah, blah, blah. And I didn't understand. Mm-hmm. I didn't understand the puzzle piece that gangster rap was filling. Mm-hmm. But what this movie does, I think, very well is and people called gangster rap art and all this stuff. And as a kid, I did not understand how you could call. I was like that cop who's like, oh, rap, it's not an art. Blah, blah, blah. In middle school.
Right.
It changed, or in high school. It changed very quickly after that.
Once you got arrested by the man.
Once I got arrested, no. But what I think is amazing about it is how it's not that it glorifies violence or that it glorifies drug use or anything like that. It's glorifying it, but it's the equivalent of like why I look at the Hulk and love the Hulk. Okay. Like the Hulk is a guy who he gets mad and he becomes giant and can destroy things, right? Like his anger leads to that, right? And the anger of like a nation of black people, right? That are being oppressed has this release. It's not that it is telling us to pick up guns and use them, but you listen to that music and it's like that freedom of expression.
Like you own your body.
Like yeah.
This is my body.
And that the movie puts it in a way that I had, as much as I was able to intellectualize it before, I feel like I understand it now because of this.
I'll give you that.
Yes, I will say that. Absolutely. However, that's the first half of this movie. And I think once that happens, once the Detroit thing happens, and they basically what happens in the film, in case you haven't seen it, like they go to Detroit and all these cops before the show tell them, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that, and you definitely aren't allowed to sing the song F the Police. And the moment you do, you will be arrested. And so then they do their whole concert, and all the cops are like in the audience, and then Ice Cube's just like, the police told us we can't. Well, try to tell us what we want to do, what we can't do, and then what do you guys say to that? Everybody was like, boo! And so he's just basically riling up this crowd, and they're just like teasing it, and then they just blast it, and everybody sticks their middle finger to the sky.
That moment's so
and they
good.
all start singing "F the Police."
It's
and then,
incredible.
So the cops start coming, and then eventually they're coming up to the front of the stage, to the back. I don't know. Gunshots happen. I don't know what's the real story behind it. If a cop, I don't know if anybody even knows.
Like they probably shot in the air.
If a cop shot in the air, here's the thing though. If the cop shot in the air, then the cops incited a riot.
Yeah.
How you can't shoot in
the air.
I was at a.
That's crazy. I think now I'm not saying that didn't happen, but what I'm saying is like there's no way the police admitted that that's what they did, right? And so the thing is, so you hear gunshots. Who knows where it comes from? If that actually happened, I'm not sure.
Yeah, no.
But you hear gunshots, and everybody starts running. They start running, and the cops eventually arrest them. And they basically blame. They're like, "You guys incited a riot." In reality, the cops incited a riot because they were trying to tell these people what to not do, and the people were like, "We came and paid for this concert. This is one of the most popular songs. You can't tell them not to sing it."
Yeah.
The riot. So anyway, but once that release kind of happens, to me, that's what the film was building towards. And then they were like, "Okay, great. Now we have to show how they start breaking up and all this stuff." And there wasn't that same thematic through line that kind of pulled out for the rest of the story.
Right.
And so it wasn't like the second half of the movie is like terrible. It's not. But it wasn't as good as the first to me because the theme was lost. And therefore, it wasn't necessarily building towards something other than, I guess, Eazy-E dying.
See, I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
But even that, didn't feel like a build. It just felt like an inevitable, like, we're waiting for Eazy-E to die. And they had all this stuff with Suge Knight, but even that, it was like, it didn't feel like the movie as a whole was like using this as a.
Well, I think the problem is kind of what you're saying. It's like this movie got nominated for best ensemble, right?
Yeah.
So like in the midpoint of this movie, that ensemble breaks up. So it's like the strongest thing of the movie was seeing all these different personalities together, and then the movie kind of went on this thing of like, oh, these are now their stories separately.
Yeah,
it's like that wasn't where.
And
the
you remember
flow
when this happened? Like to me, it literally felt like the movie was like, remember when this happened, and remember when that happened. Remember when Ice Cube like came in and you know
wanted his money back,
and like messed up the guy's shop. Oh, remember when Suge Knight just like beat that dude in a parking lot and everybody knew about it. Remember when Dre did this?
When DOC was probably thrown out of a car by Suge Knight?
Yeah, it was just why he was in the hospital.
Why he was there.
Which
in the
they
hospital.
they didn't address it. They
didn't address it at all. But I think it's that thing that you were talking about earlier. I think it's that they trusted us to know that story. Do you know what I mean? I think that
but then even in that is the case. It's just like don't just show it as like we know you remember this and here it is and then that's it. It's like you need to tie this all together to get to a certain point. Like we didn't really have like an Eazy-E they had scenes of him trying to get the band back together essentially, but it was like it didn't feel like that's what the movie was building towards. You know what I mean? So
it was building towards his death.
To me, that's what I think it was. That's ultimately what it was building towards, and even that just felt like, well, then let's get to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it lost a lot of steam for me, and that's when I started to. It was then when I started to look at the stuff that was happening and then be like, but man, gangster rap is a problem. Like I literally was like, it is kind of a problem sometimes. Like it doesn't glorify. And here's the thing that I wish the movie did talk about that it didn't talk about at all: how white people started appropriating gangster rap and making light. Like, oh, it's so cool to have gats, and it's cool to call women hoes, and it's cool to like get money and throw it around and be a gangster and a drug dealer, and have no reality of concept of what the reality of living a gangster life was like, which we see in the beginning of the movie. Yeah. How horrible it is, how much they needed to get out of the ghetto, and like Eazy-E, who was a gangster, how he was like, I gotta stop this.
Yeah, I cannot do this.
Killed.
Yeah. It's so funny you say that because watching this movie, I remember I grew up not liking gangster rap. Right? I was like, man, I like the hood R&B. You know what I'm saying? Give me some of that Jodeci out here. You know what I'm saying? Jodeci, Drew Hill.
Listen to the slow jam.
You know what I'm saying?
What was that guy? I love that dude.
Which one?
The guy who owned the recording studio.
The recording studio? He was like, hey, man, make that track I told you to make.
You gotta make them slow jams. Ain't nobody want to listen to this gangsta crap.
What's crazy is
something with an L, Lorenzo?
He is not in the credits.
Oh, really?
What?
Yeah, he's not in the credits. He's a huge part. And in the end, they just didn't put him
Well, this is my thing about it, though. Like, because Bray, I agree with you. Like, gangster rap, to me, growing up was a thing of like, I don't like the fact that people are like, at the time I guess it was like, I don't like that people are like living here, like, you know, we live in Southeast. I don't like that people make living here like seem like a good thing, you know? Right. Whereas, like you said, in the top of this movie, they touch on it like it's not being a good thing. It's just them expressing like, this is our story. Like, I think Ice Cube had as a line when they had that press conference after the Detroit like arrest, and he's like, what is his exact line? It's our music is a reflection of our reality.
Right. I love that.
If you want to change our music, you need to change our reality. And then Eazy-E says, which is, I think, a great, I think this quote is so great because I've heard this so much. We don't have passports. We don't have a connection to like drug lords. We don't know where to get AK-47s. Check the source. And if you think about it, most of these people in the hood have never been out. And it's like,
they're trying to blame black people for all that stuff. That stuff was brought into the ghetto.
How do we get it? But I agree. Maybe if this movie, let me ask you this question. If this movie would have been a snapshot of like just a rise and just a breakup of N.W.A, not everything that happened afterwards, would it be a better? And I'm not saying the movie's bad, but would it be better?
I think it might.
If they focused on just a specific timeline rather than the entire timeline, which is what I think it was trying to do. It would totally be better.
Or if they wanted to add the timeline just include the moments. Like, here's the thing. The Suge Knight thing, to me, actually thematically could have fit into the film if they crafted it a little bit better. Here's the thing, by the way, the screenplay. Again, we're being nitpicky. Like, it's still good.
It's a good movie.
I mean,
The
it's a
screenplay though was written by two white. They're both white writers.
Really?
Yes, almost 100% positive. I looked at
Sidebar really
IMDb.
quickly, I want to say that it was Arabian Prince that they left off the credits, not Alonzo Williams.
Oh, okay, good. I was like, Alonzo.
Wow, really?
Yes. So that's the thing, is that my thing was like, so the thing with Suge Knight about him being a real gangster, because Eazy-E was a real gangster, and basically Jerry was like, because Eazy-E was like, I got to kill Suge Knight. He beat me, like he disrespected me. This is the law of the hood.
He made me sign this.
This is the law of the hood. I got to kill him. And Jerry was like, no, we don't. That's not how we do things out here. You need to be the bigger man. And so that's what Eazy-E did, actually elevate himself out of the hood. But Suge Knight was still that dude who was still hood inside this business. And it was just like, and when he like told Dre, you know what I mean? Like, you rap, or maybe he told Eazy-E, I forgot. But he was just like, you rap about being from the hood, but you're not. Like, I'm a part of the Bloods. I still am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's still a part of it, yeah.
I'm still a part of it. And the thing is, it's like, that storyline, I was pretty interested in. I wish they enveloped it more so with the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Can we also say that Suge Knight killed two people while
He
this
killed
movie was
one
making?
person,
It was
ran
one
over
person.
two people.
Oh my
He
God.
ran over two. Like,
Yes.
this dude is still nuts.
Still doing his thing.
This man showed up on set and ran two people over. Ran two people over. He hadn't even seen the movie yet. I mean, unless someone snuck him a piece of the script. But
no, they were
yes.
still working on the movie.
Could you
R. Marcos Taylor is the guy who played Suge Knight. He was great.
Dude,
Yeah,
if I saw that guy in real life, I'd
He
be
was
like,
scary
bro,
as hell.
don't talk to me. That dude too scary.
I don't want to
bro.
stand next to you. Okay?
I'm not standing next to you, bro.
Being in your presence is
Not okay.
Frightening to me.
Him and the dude who played Candyman. I'm never talking. I would never talk to them in real life ever, ever. For
Oh
what?
man, my
No,
phone just died, so I don't have any of my notes.
No, but
I'm gonna try to ramble through this last.
So
bit.
anyway, that's what I'm just saying. That I was interested in that, and it didn't happen. It was two white screenwriters.
What were your like favorite and worst parts of this?
But yeah, I mean, we talked about my favorite part, which was the whole the Detroit part, like the culmination of that.
Yeah, that's dope.
Least favorite? I don't know. There were just a lot of scenes that were happening, like how they dealt with Jerry in the end. I wish like
You knew what he did.
I knew what he did exactly. Like, was he actually a bad guy? I honestly couldn't tell. I was like, it seemed like Jerry and Eazy-E were screwing over the rest of the group, and they kind of knew that they were, and the group kind of just let them, you know?
Because they wanted to make it out.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's one of those things where it's like, it happens to young artists all the time, you know what I mean? Especially young black artists. But it was that kind of thing of like, you sign the contracts, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like how, what's his name got screwed in Social Network in the...
El Guardo.
Yeah.
El
It's
Guardo
like they got
got
screwed.
it.
It's like, you signed the contract.
And
And he was
but-
like, I thought you were my lawyer. And he's like, the lawyer was actually screwing him over. You know what I mean? He wasn't
Yeah.
working for him. He was like, I thought that was my lawyer.
Yeah.
But it sort
You
of seems like
deceived me.
ultimately everybody was not getting their fair share from Jerry, even though Eazy-E may have been like set up a little better,
Right.
You know, as the owner of a company, he's going to get more than everybody else
'Cause he put the money out.
anyway, right? But ultimately Jerry was just screwing everybody.
But it didn't even make Jerry a villain because Jerry's last line to Easy is, he's like, man, I looked out for myself, yes, but this is what the music business is. He's like, I didn't make this. Like,
Yeah.
He's like, I didn't make this.
I think
I'm
that
a
they-
part of this.
I thought
humanized him.
Giamatti did such a good job though, that I literally was confused about what the movie. That's why I was like, "What's happening?" Like Paul Giamatti was so good, and I was like, I feel like Jerry's not a bad guy at all.
Yeah. And the thing is,
yeah, no, Jerry is just not. I mean, he just wasn't giving anybody their fair share.
what he said is, he was like, because I think they tried to save him, not make him a villain, because he literally says in that last thing to Eazy-E straight up, he's like, I really do care for you. I worked
hard for you.
I worked hard. I wasn't sure if this was a sure thing. I had to protect myself, and I didn't make this. I'm just a part of it.
Yeah.
And and at the end of it, he's like, Easy, I won't let you mess this up. Come back. And he's just crying. He's like, don't do this.
Yeah.
I want you to do this. You can't fire me. I'm here for you. And I'm like, it's like you said, Bray, it's like, is he bad? Or is he a part of a system?
To maybe answer this question, he is suing the people who made this movie.
Oh,
But only because
for defamation.
For defamation, but also because he believes that a lot of, especially the stuff about him, was taken from his biography without his permission.
Oh.
He wrote like an autobiography.
I mean, it's interesting because Jerry.
So the answer is yes, villain. No,
I'm about to make a reach right now. I'm about to make a super reach. To me, Jerry represents like almost Hollywood today, because Jerry's response to Eazy-E is like, I'm a part of this. I didn't make this up. For instance, we talked about this. We talked about this very briefly. Like the Hollywood Reporter came out, with the article. There was no black women on the cover or any women of color, and they talked about the directors, right?
Yeah.
He said they had a chance to add one director of color, and it was going to be F. Gary Gray. They was like, it sucks that it was only one option. They could have done it, but they thought, oh my goodness, what is his name?
Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott, was a better fit. And
was a better fit, but that means, couldn't they have put F. Gary Gray in the place of somebody else? Like why? Like,
but the thing is,
Nope.
that response that Jerry gave Eazy-E is basically like, I didn't make this. Basically, that's what the Hollywood Reporter
that's
said.
what the
I
whole.
didn't make this.
That's what the whole industry says. It's like, I mean,
we didn't do this.
and also like my question
What are we gonna
is,
do?
my question is, did Ice Cube actually make $0 from N.W.A? Because according to the movie,
I don't think they.
he starts to hand him a check.
for $75,000,
For
which is
$75,000,
a ridiculously
and then he's like,
low
I'm
amount.
not signing this," and then he says, "Bye, Jerry," and he leaves. So for 3 years, did he make, or 2.5, however long it really was, because the tour was 89,
So 2
so
years.
88 was when the album came out. So for like 2 years, did he just make no money and but lived a life with free food?
Right, which I think,
I think
yes.
that's what it was. Because at the end of the day, this dude had nothing. He
Yeah.
was on tour, getting women, could eat, even though he was eating, what did he say? What burger was it?
Fat burger.
Fat burger. He was eating fat burger. Maybe not lobster, but it was like he was
That's crazy.
good.
But then did he also make no money off of his first album?
Yo, if he made no money off America's Most Wanted, that album
Yeah.
is considered a classic.
Well, it seems like he made no money off of that, and then could only make money off of his second, which is insane to think about.
Yeah, I don't know if that's. I don't
For
know.
as much, so for as much free comedy as we're doing, right?
Yeah.
Could you imagine if somebody owed us all money and just wasn't giving it
no,
to us?
you know what that is? That's someone being like, hey guys, we're going to give you like a show. This show was a hit for 2 years.
Like,
and
what?
we make no money off the show.
Like, what would you do? Like, what? I don't know.
Yo, that's kind of what that's like. Like, we would get a comedy show, and it's like, hey, this show, we won Emmys, we won, like, people are like, and we get no money.
But they're like giving us parties and
Yeah.
putting us up in
and
hotels,
we're eating, so like we don't have to.
we're not paying for anything. We're not
paying for
losing
anything.
money, but we're not gaining money. Yeah.
My mom can't pay rent. All right, off of my
having
fat
it
burger.
lavish.
My fat burger ain't paying my mom. Like, what? Nigga, get out of here. What?
Oh,
Ice
man.
Cube messed that dude's whole house up. I mean, it's almost. Oh man, that was
That was
funny.
the most gangster shit I've ever seen.
Right?
Should we talk just very, very briefly about O'Shea Jackson Jr.?
Yeah, I would.
I was scared. I was scared to bring that up.
No,
I just
don't
feel like
be.
we should talk about. No, I feel
know.
like we have a obligation to talk about it.
No, that's what
a
I'm
little
saying.
bit. It's
That's what I'm
like
saying.
because I mean, I read it's just like he studied with acting coaches for like 2 years, so that nepotism didn't appear to be like a thing. Like,
Is he a
reason to
rapper,
catch it.
And he also auditioned, right?
He did.
auditioned
Yeah, he did.
and-
Is he a rapper?
And Eazy-E's son did audition and didn't get cast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Is he a rapper? I don't know.
Yes, he is.
He is
Who?
right.
O'Shea?
Yeah,
Junior?
Cube Jr.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is.
So he's a rapper in a movie.
But do you? I mean, how did you like his Did you feel like his performance was worthy of him being in this film? You know what I mean?
For me personally, anytime I looked at him or heard him speak, I thought of Ice Cube.
Yeah.
And the thing
Right.
the thing is, I can't tell you, and Bray, I don't know if this is going to be a good answer or not, but I can't tell you it was because his acting was great or it was because he looks and sounds like his dad. He had a lot of mannerisms of his dad.
Yeah. If I were to, I don't know why he got in and Eazy-E's son didn't. I don't know what that's about. I mean, Jason Mitchell killed. So, you know what I mean? I don't, it's not about that. I just, and it's uncanny his portrayal of Ice Cube. But I will say that in the in the moments of like when he had to be angry, it felt more like yelling than someone who was actually harmed and fighting for something. If that, and that's an acting criticism for somebody who's doing their first movie, also, right? Like Will Smith in his first movie, Tom Cruise in his first movie, they are not great. They're not great.
I thought he did a good job. I thought he did a good job doing. I thought he did a good job. I think out of all three of the roles, his one might have been a little bit like, to me, it's like Eazy-E had the meteor role, right?
Yeah,
that was a meteor one.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Dr. Dre almost was the perfect good guy because he didn't have any. He was the perfect good guy. Whereas it was tough, I feel like, for Ice Cube, because Ice Cube was the smart one. Ice Cube was the one who was fighting for something the whole time. Yeah. And you needed to see him be vulnerable every now and then. Yeah. Which is tough because that's not what, unless you're a trained actor or somebody, that's tough for anybody.
Yeah, no, I mean, and really for me, the only times that I was really, and only because I was watching it this second time for the purposes of this podcast, the first time it never bothered me. Like I thought he was great. I thought everybody was great. I still think everybody is great. And I really just think it's those moments of like really deep that he just has to with more, the more acting that he does, the better I think he will get.
Yeah.
If he did. Yeah.
If he kept going.
Yeah. What about you?
I was just going to say the fact that Ice Cube is since everybody knows him because he's in so many movies, he's just such a big celebrity presence, I felt like this made sense. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, this was one of those things where it was just like, because he looks like Cube,
sounds like Cube,
and sounds like him, and did try hard to have acting experience so that when he did, the role, it didn't feel wooden, Yeah. It made sense to me that he was cast, and I thought he did a good job. To me, it wasn't like, I wasn't like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. Yeah. I was like, oh, it's like Ice Cube. It felt like Ice Cube when he was in movies early in his career. It felt just like Ice Cube when he's in movies. And I was like, all right, that's cool.
Hey, but still though, these rappers need to stop making these.
No, they didn't put a lot of rappers on this.
That's what I love about this movie is that there are actors playing rappers, and O'Shea Jackson Jr. is also in the movie. Yeah, doing a good job of playing his. But
also think about how, and this is what it is. As I feel like if they would have got 3 rappers to be in this movie, right, we would not be talking about it right now. I think because they had 2. I think a lot on Jason Mitchell because they had like a strong actor. Yeah, like a trained guy to take on this role, this heart of this movie. Yeah, I think that gave it a little bit of more like gravitas. Like you took 2 Juilliard dudes, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And O'Shea, again, actually being born and brought up by Ice Cube, his dad, I feel like helped him so much. But
he had a life. All the background was already done.
Yeah, he had a life.
All the table work was already done.
but I also think it's that thing of like, as actors, especially African Americans, people can be so much. Like these guys can be rappers. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't remember the guy's name who played Dr. Dre, but he's like, Dr. Dre was on set Corey Hawkins. Dr. Dre was on set showing him how to mix because that's what an actor does. And I think because they were trained, we cared more. Whereas if we would have if we'd have had 3 rappers, it'd have been like, no offense, because I'd have been like,
No, I mean, like, who knows? I mean, like, I never saw, I was about to try to say one of those movies that came out, what's the 50 Cent movie? What's the 50 his first? I never saw Get Rich or Die Trying. I never saw, but and also just the movies that there were so many movies that came out in
Notorious.
2000. I saw Notorious. I thought it was great. But I mean, all those movies that came out, all those movies that came out where it was like done by the rappers and their production. I never saw any of those. Like if this movie,
Baller Blocking,
Baller Blocking. That's one of the ones. That's one of the ones I was trying to reach for. And I was a huge Cash Money fan, but I never saw like that, right? Because I was like, why would I? For me, just for somebody who likes to see people acting and actually like going places, right? I was like, why would I go see that movie? But we did House Party, and House Party is also one of my favorite movies,
Hey, you leave House Party out of this.
But it's all. But no. But what you talked about with House Party, I think, is important because it's all about what you're doing with it, right? Like this movie was not a fun movie, right? This movie
it was not a fun one,
a heavy one, and I want to see actors taking on those.
The only other thing I want to talk about is real quick is do we want to what am I trying to say? Do we want to take a guess as to why this film like really didn't do well internationally? Because it did not.
It didn't, but the thing is, it's hard to do. Like I've been thinking about that, but to me, it's because what did Kevin Hart say?
Maybe it's a lack of stars. You know what I mean?
I think it is because Kevin Hart
stars sell in foreign markets.
And the thing is, if you think about like black actors that can sell abroad, honestly, you got two. You got Will Smith because everyone knows him. Big Willie saves the world. And you got Kevin Hart, right? Yeah. But I remember, Kevin Hart just brought up. He had a speech, not a speech, but he had an interview and he was talking about
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh, Dwayne. Yeah, that's true. I always forget because sometimes he be playing. You know, sometimes his movies he don't be trying to acknowledge.
Dwayne Johnson sells, baby.
He don't be trying to acknowledge. Yeah, I said it. He don't be trying to acknowledge what color he is.
I did see. By the way, I saw San Andreas.
How was that his daughter? How was that his daughter? How?
In no way is that his daughter.
I saw Snitch. It's the same concept.
Same thing. It's like Dwayne is Hawaiian and black. Those are two of the most ethnic things you get. Hey, The Rock.
But
you black, bruh.
Okay, hold on. So let's just talk about why do we think Straight Outta Compton didn't do well overseas?
Man, I don't know.
No stars.
You know, no stars is one. I also think that it's what is the story that's being told, and do people know about it?
Yeah. Do people know N.W.A over there?
So and I think we talked about this on podcast. We may talk about this off. I was shocked when I first heard that it didn't do well overseas. I was like, isn't hip hop like a huge thing?
It is. But it's a different type of hip hop. It's a different type, party hip hop.
It's a different type of hip hop. It's not this movie. You are not saying I'm going to go to this movie and have fun. You're going to go to this movie and it is thought provoking and it's heavy, right? So I think that has to do with that stuff.
Yeah.
I just want to say one thing now.
Oh no!
There could have been a swirl in this movie.
Here it is. It's time.
I'm sorry, man. It could have been a swirl in this movie. All right, I'm gonna tell you what a swirl would have came. Don't try to make that face. Listen. All right.
They did have there was definitely a lot of sex in this film.
It was a lot.
And actually, not a lot. Just one huge scene.
One scene. And the thing is, I think the swirl could have happened after Detroit. After that, one big white cop is like, "Hey, you can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do this." Right? He's giving him his whole speech.
I think like where you're starting.
I think what could have happened is
neither do I.
Oh, you're gonna love where I'm about to go. I think what could have happened was they get arrested. All right, Ice Cube gets out of prison. He's so stressed, right? He's walking around the hotel. He's like, man, I gotta clear my head. I just gotta walk. All of a sudden, he goes back to his room. He reads a book because he was a poet, so he started writing. He goes back, gets knocked on the door. He knocks on the door. Pulls his gun from under the pillow, goes open the door. Becky's there.
Who is Becky?
Becky is the cop's daughter. Becky's the cop's daughter. Becky's like, hey, I'm sorry about what happened. My dad doesn't understand what's going on in the world. All right. She's like, do you mind if I talk to you for a second? He's like, all right. He goes back, puts the gun under his pillow, opens the door for Becky. Becky comes in. Becky's like, you know what? I'm so sorry. I baked you some chocolate chip cookies. I'm gonna set these in.
She baked him some chocolate.
Let me finish.
My man.
She was like,
and she was like, it's too rough.
And she was like, but I want to know. And he's like, do you? And she's like, yeah.
She should have said. She should have said. But it's too rough. You don't want that. And she should have said, I like it rough.
Oh, that's good. Oh, Ray's in it. Now, this is where things get interesting.
Sorry, Mama.
This is where things get interesting, right? This is the key. She pushes Ice Cube down. It's like, don't worry, I got this. Hops on top.
Kids, stop listening.
Right? Hops on top. Kisses him. I'm going deep in this now.
Hops on
top of him, pushes him down, kisses him ever so softly. And says, I want this to be an experience.
Oh, no. This is the worst kind of swirl. Wait a minute. This isn't the swirl.
Why is it the swirl?
No, because now she's just having sex with him because he's black. That's the whole point.
No. Hear me out. She wants to have this experience. This right now, okay? This swirl, yes, it's about race, but this is about what we're talking about. Yeah. This is about black and white trying to take away all this racial tension.
Yeah.
It's trying to take away. She was like, I know you're from the hood. I know my dad did a bad thing, but our sexual
Let me say
orgasms together
Let me
in
say this.
unison is going to be the song singing to the races of the sky.
This is what I would have loved for you to have said. So Ice Cube's in his place and he's reading a book.
What book?
He's reading a book.
He's reading a book, bro. Don't worry about it. He's reading a book,
He's
man.
reading a book. Suddenly there's a knock at the door. He goes up to the door. It's Lieutenant Becky from the precinct.
Oh, God.
And she's like, are you ready to fuck the police?
What?
James won. James just won. Oh my goodness, bro. Yo. See, I'm gonna tell you what's so funny about that. I was trying to
Mic
think, oh my
drop.
goodness, bro. I can't even, that was so good. That was so good. Yo, first, I just want to point out, when I first started doing this world, neither one of y'all ever wanted to be a part of it. And now both start sprinkling stuff in
Little
every
stuff.
now and then.
Little stuff.
Well, I mean, if we're when in Rome, you know.
But the whole point, but seriously, the whole point of that thing is the fact that it's like, yo, we rarely see this, and it's like, at that point in time, that union would have been like, especially like he was the thinker of the group, and what happened to him. Technically, he got, harassed by the cops multiple times in the movie. He wrote F the police, that's what it is, yo.
What?
You don't even want to do it.
So no, but I got to thinking about After Earth because After Earth, right? Like
I'm gonna let you sit in this silence.
the Earth is destroyed. The Earth is destroyed. Much like what happens after the riots break out.
John, you want some potato chips?
Yes.
Wait, no. Wait, listen, wait. Wait. So just like after the riots, the earth falls apart, Compton is burning, you know what I mean?
People hate eating on mic.
Like everything's like falling apart. There's fire everywhere. Everybody's all mad because of
Skipping forward a couple of 15 seconds.
And so then the earth, right, is desolate. This is the new earth that they live in now.
Why's your voice like that?
Do you think that you're on some sort of like
What are you doing?
No, but this
NPR podcast right
isn't
now?
this. Oh, no, because I'm just trying to make sure that everyone can hear me, everything that I'm saying. And there are people that like antagonize the only black
What are you
people.
doing after this?
The only.
I don't know. I'm trying to watch the game.
What?
I'm trying to watch the game.
Wow,
the
the mic's just
stopped. Just stopped.
gave up.
They literally just gave up
The
on
mics
you.
they were like, stop this bit right now.
all right.
You've been going for a while now.
It's time for the cause.
Yeah.
Whoop. So if you don't know, now you know, brother.
time for the
No, sorry.
police.
For those of you who are just tuning in, who are like, "Oh, what's this Black Man Can't Jump thing about? Why y'all editor's choice and on the podcast?" Listen, we doing this thing.
Yeah, we doing it. Let's
Yeah.
do
We
it.
fighting for the cause. What's the
fighting
cause?
for the cause.
Tell them.
More leading black actors in major motion pictures.
Yep.
Film. So many people keep tweeting at us about TV. Guys, we love TV. We love
do
TV.
film now.
We doing film, man. We
Yeah.
trying to change Hollywood.
We
Okay.
doing film.
Here we go. You guys ready? We either rated a black fist, means it helped the cause. A white palm means it didn't help. Sorry. Black fist means it helped the cause. White palm means it helped so-so. Or nothing, because it didn't help. You guys ready?
I'm ready. Yeah, this one is tough, and I'm gonna no matter what I put up, I'm gonna think it was something else.
All right, let's do it.
All right, that made no sense. All right, ready? Count of 3. 1, 2, chicka, 3.
Oh, they got three black
Got 3
fists.
black fists.
Three black fists.
Here's the thing for me. Yeah, of course this movie's going to get black fists. Why? Because it doesn't matter if the film is good or not, which I think it is. It doesn't matter, though. It gave 3
and more.
3. I mean, well, first of all, it gave a lot of black actors parts in the film. But it had 3 major leading roles, all by 3 actors who were not leads in a movie before.
Yeah.
and it's jumpstart. So that's 3 careers that it just helped jumpstart if they want it. It also helped that there's a couple of people, working actors who have been in a bunch of things who did great in this movie. Like the guy who played MC Ren is great.
Oh, yeah,
He's
great.
been in a bunch of stuff. Aldous Hodge, and then Neil Brown Jr., who played DJ Yella. He's been in a bunch of things. Been in a bunch of stuff. He's always great. You know, even like we were talking about, R. Marcus Taylor, who played Suge Knight, was great. The women, even though they barely had anything to do, were still good.
What's his name? Keith. I wrote it down, but my phone is dead. He played Snoop Dogg.
Shout out to Keith
Powers.
Shout out to Innovative.
No, but Keith Powers played Tyree. He didn't play Snoop.
No, who's the one who played Snoopy? Also,
Keith Stanfield. Keith
Stanfield. He's great. Great actor.
Short term 12. He's in that.
So
too. Really
so just for that reason alone, I was giving it a Black Fist. But also, I liked, again, the first half of this movie. I thought the themes were great. It wasn't. This movie could have just been like, we're rappers and we're the best. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it presented this reality in a way that it justified the music. You know what I mean? It made you be like, yeah, are there problems with this stuff? Sure. Do the lifestyles they lead exactly, are they role models, for children? Probably not. But there is a genuine truth that they're speaking to through this music that is art and is necessary, So for that reason alone, I gave it a fist. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head there, man. Like, it really jumpstarts those careers in a really great way. It's great to see so many black faces on screen, and doing a great job, like great black actors playing these roles. I think that is something that's great about it. I think that the fact that the movie itself did so well means that it reached a lot of people, and the reach being so far, I think, is also great. And just for me, I had such a good time at the theater watching this movie, and if I felt connected to a part of my culture that like I've talked about in this episode, was distant from, or had distanced myself from for a while. And I think that it's a great movie with a black director, black cast. I think it deserves a fist.
I think it deserves a fist too, because the performances, Jason Mitchell, was great. I think the fact that, deep down the story had this very like political and topical, message about like just, African Americans and like the police. I think the script did have a couple of issues, but I think what they did well was they took these characters or these people who, be honest, the world really doesn't know that much about, besides like what the media made us think, like these guys are criminals, these guys are crooks, and they humanized them. Whether that's good or bad, I wish we would have saw more of their flaws, but that's neither here nor there. I think F. Gary Gray did a great job directing. I think, to me, in 2015, there were 2 great opening sequences of movies. One was Mad Max. The other one was Straight Outta Compton. I think the way this movie opened with Eazy-E running from the police was crazy. Also, in that opening scene, the drug dealer who's sitting on the couch, the little light-skinned dude who's like in Eazy-E's face. Yeah. This dude has been in so many things recently. I don't know his name, but I feel like we will soon. He's the assistant on Blackish now. He was the bouncer in Dope. Like, this dude is definitely like playing the gambit of like black roles right now, which I think is so interesting. But to me, the reason this got a fist is because I think about other black actors getting lead roles. I'm sorry, what is Ice Cube? Dr. Dre's name in real life?
Corey Hawkins.
Corey Hawkins and Jason Mitchell both are leads of
Skull
Island coming out. Kong, which is great because to me it's like that. This movie directly affected that. You know what I'm saying? It's like they are now the lead. Well, it's a bunch of leads, but they are now co-leads of a huge movie coming out, which is great.
That's a part of a franchise also.
Which is great. And then F. Gary Gray, even though he didn't make the Hollywood Reporter cover, it's like we know him. White people know him now. He's been
should known him before. He directed the Italian Job.
They did.
The Negotiator.
He did, but
and
those
Be Cool.
One of my favorite
I know, but
movies.
all those movies, if you think about it, all those movies came out well over 12 years ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So it's like I think this gave him a little bit more juice, and I think I'm curious to see what happens now. They're already talking about doing like whether it be good or not. They're talking about doing like, the Tupac biopic that's coming out. It's like this movie we can see the effects of this movie right now, which I think is great. So it had to get a fist. I wish, God forbid, ladies, I saw the casting breakdown. We didn't touch on it. I think it is shit. I think it definitely is disgusting about like how it happened. But not to defend them, that is kind of what this movie took place then, and that kind of is what the vibe of that was.
That's that world.
That's that world. So I'm sorry.
Right. Those are the problems. With
those are the problems
with that world. That's what I'm saying. It's not like we can't ignore the fact that gangster rap and that kind of culture has a lot of problems, especially towards women. But yeah.
Yeah. So 3 black fists.
3 black fists.
Straight Outta Compton.
Straight Outta Compton.
Cruising industry in my 6 foul. that was better, bro.
That was better.
That was good. That was a good part. All right, y'all. Stay tuned for some plugs. We see you next week.
See you. Bye. Peace.
Doing some plugs.
Plugs.
Doing them plugs.
Wow,
y'all.
Did you used to work for Nickelodeon?
I didn't. I always wanted to though.
Oh, that's cute.
That's cute.
Listen here now. Guys, you can follow us on Twitter at Black Men Podcast. Follow us. Tweet at us.
Tweet at us.
Tweet some love.
Tweet some love.
If you want to tweet
hashtags.
hate, do it.
Yeah,
we'll read
hate.
it.
We respond.
Actually, just let us know what you're thinking, please.
Yeah, let us know what you think if you disagree or if you agree.
If you tweet hate, I'm responding.
You know what? You could also like tweet and be like, we want you to have this guest on the show, but tweet at that guest.
Yeah.
That really works.
It actually really does
It
work.
does. It works. So do that.
Hey, someone should tweet at Zoe Kravitz, Tessa Thompson. Just throwing that out there.
I mean, if you want.
You want to help out. Or Michael B. Get Mike on the show.
I'm just saying, now that we brought it up, my dream has always been to be on Nickelodeon. So if you want to tweet at I am Kel Mitchell.
Or Keenan.
Kel will come on the show.
This show.
Kel would definitely do the show.
Is amazing. So I just wanted to say that. Just tweet at I am Kel Mitchell.
You know, I was on an audition with him.
You were on audition with Kel Mitchell?
Yeah.
Do you know I met Kel as well?
Man, fuck you.
All right. So anyway, at Black Man Podcast on Twitter, on Instagram. Find us on Facebook. Like us, our fan page. Personally, John Braylock, at John Braylock, JONBRAYLOCK on Twitter, Instagram, johnbraylock.com for my shows and stuff like that. Speaking of shows, we got a show coming up, a live recording at NYU.
Yeah.
Gallatin. You can look on either my website or the Black Men
on Facebook.
Yeah, we have a website, but we got to get that domain.
It's blackmanpodcast.squarespace.com.
It's blackmanpodcast.squarespace.com. It's not that bad. You can find us there, find the link there, and it's free, I believe.
Yeah, and it's
just got an RSVP.
And I saw it on NYU's like community events page or whatever.
Yeah.
It's on there too.
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
on their community events page. We're going to be reviewing the film there, 12 Years a Slave.
12
Black
years.
History Month.
For Black History Month.
12 Years a Slave. Oh, we also have a show with Astronomy Club, our other group, at the UCB Theater at the end of January on the 29th at 7:30, A Journey Through Black History. Listen, y'all, people have been writing about this show. New York Times say you should come to this show.
That's true.
Time Out New York say you should come to this show.
They did.
New York Metro say you should come to this show.
All of those people.
AM New York say you should come to this show.
Everybody is telling you to come to this show, so you better come to
the show. It's $10. Bring a date. Mm-hmm. Show her you classy.
There's another
show him you
show
classy.
that you'll get to see as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's going to be good.
Yeah. Oh, the NYU show is February 8th.
8th, Monday.
6:30.
6:30.
Yep.
Great.
All right, cool.
What you plugging, James?
Well, I was just going to also say on Friday the 29th at 10:30 p.m., we're doing improv at the Explosion of Everything show at BritPack, New York City. Boom.
Yeah, that'd be cool. You guys got
Wait,
you
what?
guys got some Twitter?
Yeah, at James Third Comedy, jamesthirdcomedy.com. Third is 3RD.
All right, that's easily explainable.
I'm
Jerah?
not tweeting no more.
Jerah, I saw you tweeting. You still have your Twitter.
Jerah, you
Man,
tweeted mad
what's your-
hate at me.
Yeah.
recently.
I like to tweet. I like to be like a chameleon or like a little wizard that you don't know when I'm a tweet. When
You
the
know
Oscars
what?
make me mad, I tweet.
You know what we don't know? How to
Shut up.
spell your
How
Twitter
to spell
name.
your Twitter? What is it?
They won't let me change it. They won't let me change it, man.
Okay. That's about it. Right?
Yeah.
Great. So next week we will be reviewing the film Beasts of No Nation. That's right. We're on a little Oscar kick.
Yep.
You know, all those films that didn't get nominated for a freaking Oscar. You know those films, huh? Idris Elba nominated for the BAFTA, for the SAG, for the Golden Globe, but the Academy was like, nah, man, we don't like you because you black.
Hey,
you remember that? You remember that, guys?
I mean, honestly, that was the quote. They said, "We don't like you because you black," and black was in it was like all caps.
Yeah,
and they
and then
underlined it.
Yeah, and
it was like
in quotation in a little parentheses, it said "read black" as in black.
Yeah, they like
spelled it
told
out.
you how you should say it. It was
Hey,
crazy.
yo, when John gets mad, I get a little scared, man.
It's very frightening.
Oh, you know who is frightening? Idris Elba in Beasts of No Nation. Watch that joint.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
That was a HeadGum podcast.